Question number 1. What is the purpose of a Docker volume? You got it? Your choice to persist data beyond the life cycle of a container is right. Question number 2. What does the Docker piece, a command, do? You're right. List all containers, including stopped once, is the correct answer. Question number 3. Command to install Docker CentOS real. Sharp thinking. Yum install Docker CY is the right choice. Question number 4. What is the purpose of Docker registry? Strong choice. To store and distribute Docker images is the right answer. Question number 5. Command for installing Apache Web Server. Well reasoned. Yum install HTTPY is the correct choice. Question number 6. What port does the Docker registry use? Perfect. Port 5000 is the correct choice. Question number 7. What key concepts does Docker rely on? Excellent choice. Images and containers is the right answer. Question number 8. What is the Docker exec command to do? Bravo. Go to work within the container is the answer.
Question number 9. What Docker command executes software?
Good job. Your answer Docker run works well here. Question number 10. Docker command to list all the images. Exactly. Docker images make sense and it is right choice. Question number 11. How to delete an unused Docker image. Valid point. Docker image prune is true. Question number 12. What is the main use case for Docker? Solid response. Development and testing is a valid choice. Question number 13. Command to make Swarm Docker service. Good thinking. Docker service create -name testweb dp 8087 egg 80 docthor atpd. V10 is the right answer. Question number 14. What does Docker Compose help you do? Right again. Manage multiple Docker containers with a single configuration file is a valid answer. Question number 15. A Docker Dash has a thin or boggle layer? Nice work. You chose container, and it is correct. Question number 16. Command to create cluster in Docker. Smart move. All of the above is an accurate answer. Question number 17. Docker command to remove a container. Great job. Docker run web serve is the accurate answer. Question number 18. What is Docker Compose's usefulness? Well picked. Facilitate the definition and execution of multi-contentive applications is the correct answer. Question number 19. How many types of storage in Docker? Great thinking. 3 is the right choice.
Question number 20. How is all volumes ready in Docker?
Smart pick. Docker volume else is the correct choice. Question number 21. List inactive and active containers. Correct response. Docker PASI is the most accurate answer. Question number 22. How does a container run in Docker? Excellent. Through the Docker run command is a brilliant choice.
Question number 23. What is the purpose of Kubernetes?
Right choice. To manage containerized applications across a cluster of nodes is the best answer.
Question number 24. What platforms does Docker run on?
Nice selection. Both is the correct and valid answer. Question number 25. What does the Docker file contain? You chose instructions for building a Docker image. And it is correct.
Question number 26. What are some drawbacks of Docker?
Clear logic. Your choice security, complexity, and harder integration is sound and 100% true.
Question number 27. How are images created in Docker?
On track. Using a configuration file called Dockerfile is the correct answer. Question number 28. Docker command to create an image. Correct. Docker build name image is the right answer. Question number 29. Why is Docker's command is used? Well done. To see the running container is the right choice.
Question number 30. Docker containers are which type?
Nicely done. Alexi is a solid answer. Question number 31. What are the features of Docker? You got it. Your choice, all of the above is right. Question number 32. Command to add Docker repository. Strong choice. Yum config manager -add repo URLs is the right answer.
Question number 33. Stop a container that is running.
Great job. Docker stop my container is the accurate answer.
Question number 34. What kind of software is Docker?
Great thinking. Container is the right choice.
Question number 35. How is an image in Docker runs?
Nice work. You chose using the Docker run command, and it is correct. Question number 36. Enable and start Docker service. Perfect. Systemtel enable -now Docker is the correct choice. Question number 37. What is the role of Docker Hub? Bravo. To provide cloud-based storage and sharing of Docker images is the answer.
Question number 38. Why we use dcommand in Docker?
Right choice. To run container in detach mode is the best answer. Question number 39. How retrieve token of manager? Right again. Docker Swarm join token queue manager is a valid answer. Question number 40. Mapping is possible in Docker. On track. Yes is the correct answer. Question number 41. What is a container in Docker? Excellent. A light and portable image is a brilliant choice. Question number 42. Command join worker to manager. Correct. Docker Swarm join -token host. Port is the right answer.
Question number 43. What is Docker image registry?
Good job. Your answer, it is a place where Docker images are stored, works well here. Question number 44. Validate Docker service status. Smart pick. Systemtel status Docker is the correct choice. Question number 45. How would you build an image? Sharp thinking. Docker build image name is the right choice. Question number 46. How you manage Docker images? Nice selection. Both A and B is the correct and valid answer. Question number 47. How to list Docker containers? You chose Docker Pesa, and it is correct. Question number 48. Google Container Registry is? Nicely done. A deprived of Docker images is a solid answer. Question number 49. Do containers run on top of? Valid point. Docker engine is true. Question number 50. What is Dockerfile used for? Well done. contains configuration data for the Docker environment is the right choice.
Question number 51. Docker Compose is a tool for.
Correct response. Execution of multi-container instances is the most accurate answer.
Question number 52. Command to delete a service.
Well picked. Docker service arm sarvdime is the correct answer.
Question number 53. Docker image is built using.
Solid response. Dockerfile is a valid choice. Question number 54. What is a Docker container? Good thinking. A running instance of a Docker image is the right answer.
Question number 55. The command docker arm dash.
You're right. Deletes an ended container is the correct answer.
Question number 56. List the active containers.
Excellent choice. Docker PS is the right answer.
Question number 57. Delete all existing images.
Exactly. Docker Army F$ makes sense, and it is right choice.
Question number 58. Command for listing images.
Smart move. Docker images is an accurate answer.
Question number 59. Docker execute test1 bash.
Clear logic. Your choice enter the test1 shell is sound and 100% true.
Question number 60. Who can edit Docker code?
Well reasoned. Anyone is the correct choice.
Question number 61. What is a Docker volume?
Great job. A directory that bypasses the container's union file system is the accurate answer.
Question number 62. Add user to Grupo Docker.
Valid point. User modded Docker user is true.
Question number 63. How to update a service?
You got it. Your choice Docker service update dash image igname sevneme is right.
Question number 64. What is Docker Compose?
Solid response. A tool for defining and running multi-container Docker applications is a valid choice.
Question number 65. Does the Docker wheel?
Well reasoned. No operational system is the correct choice.
Question number 66. List existing volumes.
Correct. Docker volume else is the right answer.
Question number 67. What is Docker Swarm?
Nice work. You chose management containerization and it is correct.
Question number 68. Stop Docker service.
Excellent. System tool stop Docker is a brilliant choice.
Question number 69. What is Docker Hub?
Right choice. A public repository of Docker images is the best answer.
Question number 70. Docker container else.
You're right. List the containers is the correct answer.
Question number 71. Docker allows dash.
Well done. Separate the application from the infrastructure is the right choice.
Question number 72. The Docker logo is?
You chose a whale, and it is correct.
Question number 73. Docker start test1.
Clear logic. Your choice. Light the container test1 is sound and 100% true.
Question number 74. Docker pull Alpine.
Exactly. Download the Alpine image makes sense and it is right choice.
Question number 75. Docker epi6 sol.
Excellent choice. True. But you have to enable it manually is the right answer.
Question number 76. Docker group name.
Strong choice. Docker is the right answer.
Question number 77. What is traffic? Good job. Your answer, aplikasi reverse proxy load balance, works well here. Question number 78. Docker is dash.
SmartPick. An open source platform is the correct choice.
Question number 79. A Docker host.
Great thinking. None of the above is the right choice.
Question number 80. What is K3s?
Right again. Lightweight Kubernetes is a valid answer.
Question number 81. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format? On track. Contact Narayan Changda is the correct answer.